Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. I want to welcome each and every one of you once again for another very important interview. Today, we are privileged to have with us Councilor Charlyne Brumskine, the daughter of the late Charles Walker Brumskine, uh, talking about the former standard bearer and political leader for the Liberty Party, um, inarguably the founding father of the Liberty Party. So it's going to be very much important today that we uh, be a part of this conversation. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to go ahead and share the show and start this very, very important conversation. As always, with me today is my colleague, Steve Bully, aka Moses. And we also expect Teco to be here. Um, Not too sure about it, but uh, she might come. Uh, but it is exciting. It is very much important to have this conversation. As you may be aware, Charlyne is one of those young women in Liberia that have somehow impacted their surrounding. They have encouraged many women, younger women, to excel, to do what is right. And she has actually done a lot in terms of personal development or involvement into politics. Uh, she is one of those key members of the Liberty Party. So she's also a lawyer. Yeah, but she will come and talk a little bit about herself. But it's important that you share this show today so that we can have this very, very important conversation. Let's bring on Mr. Steve Bully, my colleague who is already here. Steve, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Kane. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Are you ready for this conversation?
Yes, as always, it's an honor to, I think this is her debut with SKTV. So, as always, it's an honor to have uh, one of the leaders, um, not only in her political party, but one of the national figures of our country, whether you like it or not. Um,
Yeah.
she's a household name, whether you want to look at it from her late father's point of view and what he's done so far, what he did for the country and for the Liberty Party, or you just want to look at her personal achievements and who she is. Um, she's a national leader, and so we take her very seriously. We take her honoring our invitation very seriously to come on SKTV for to have a conversation concerning our country and the forward march of the country in the future. So I think it's a good thing. I think I would encourage all Liberians to tune in from every walk of life, so that we can have this conversation here today. Um, I look forward to a stimulating, thought-provoking, informative, and very educative conversation today with Charlyne, and would urge you, the viewers, to share the show, invite someone, let someone know what's happening here today. We've told you who our guest is. It's not a secret. But more importantly, Mr. Cunningham, we want to, welcome everyone from around the world. Those of you watching us from Europe, our followers, our viewers, Asia, Australia, especially those from the motherland in Liberia. We say thank you, and thank you in this rainy season, in this season where data is a problem and a trouble in Liberia. You do your best to come on, follow us, and watch us, and you share the show. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you. I want to recognize the Liberian people as the most important people, as always. But most importantly, I want to recognize the Liberian women as the most beautiful women on earth. And if you want to argue, Charlyne Brumskine would, let's see if she would not corroborate what I've said here today. And all of you Liberian women out there, to the most beautiful women on earth, we say thank you for being beautiful. Mr. Kana, back to you as we look forward to the conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve, as always. So, no, I'm laughing because you said that Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. And then you say, if anybody argue that Charlyne can come and disprove that because she's beautiful.
Exactly so. She will corroborate that.
And I like that. That's nice. Yeah. So folks, we want to encourage each and every one of you as always. We normally do this. It's called housekeeping. When we invite people here, we invite high-profile people, low-key people. It doesn't matter who we invite here. We always make sure we do this housekeeping, which is governing yourself accordingly, making sure we accord respect to our guests. You can disagree. You can say you lie. You can say that's not true. But there are certain words that are not acceptable on this platform. So this platform is noted to be very much reputable, respectful, and issue-driven. So if you are here and want to be part of this important conversation, we want to encourage you to continue to be within the confines of this platform. So Steve, per our custom, we always play one song, maybe any Liberian song, so we can use that time to share the show. And, also we can use that time to shake a little bit. Maybe the guests will be shaking her head. Maybe we'll see she giving some movement and stuff like that. But yes, indeed, our guest is already here, and she's very, very, pointed. She's on time. It's not like me who can be running late every day. So yes, indeed, folks, I want to say thank you very much. I want to encourage you to share the show. We normally do this every time. So let's play this one song here. And right after that, we will begin the conversation right away. So we're going to take this time to share the show. If you never heard or haven't seen this young lady talking about Cllr Brumskine, you are here today. Share the show with your friends so that they can come later and say, "Oh, Sekou, what did I miss?" We want everybody to be part of this conversation from the get-go. All right, let's do this, and we will be right back in a few minutes. Oh, na 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 na. Just let people them. People them.
D12 on the beat.
I know they send you to monitor. Go try them say you not see me, yo. I know they send you to slow me down. Go try them say you not see me, yo. Got you. Got pinching you, yeah. You choose to live, you want to live. I choose to live, I want to live. Nothing you. Oh yeah. Nothing choking you, yeah. If I'm not making money and not making sense, if I'm not getting bread, I'm not going there, yeah. Get me where, oh yeah, get me where. I'm moving up, I'm never coming down, yeah. Get me where. I'm going up, I'm never coming down, yeah. I know they sent you to slow me down. Go tell them say you not see me, yo. I know they sent you to monitor. Go tell them say you not see me, yo. Move on, yeah. If you come to worry me, move on, yeah. If you come to stress me, move on, yeah. If you want to slow me down, move on, yeah. You choose the life you want to live, oh. So I choose the life I want to live, oh. Now I keep pinching you, oh yeah. Now I keep choking you, I got the juice, I got the sauce, I got the feelings the people like. I got the juice, got the sauce, got the feelings the people like. Yeah. Show me a friend, I will tell you who you are. Watch what you do, it might turn around on you. When you point the finger, don't forget to know 3 other fingers are pointing back at you. Move on, yeah. Go tell them, say, you not see me, oh. Move on, yeah.
All right, go tell them, say you not see me. If you are here for good thing, we are here for you. But if you're here to distract, disrespect, insult, or go out of the line, go tell them you don't see me. We're not here for you. What we'll do, we'll take you for safekeeping if you try to do that. But yes, indeed, it is good to be back here. I want to say thank you to you again for sharing the show. For those of you who are yet to share the show, I want to encourage you to do so. So, Steve, we'll waste no time to bring the guest on. She's here and ready. And like you said, this is going to be her debut on SKTV. And I'm hoping that this will not be the last time. Good evening, Councillor Brumskine. How are you? You are muted. You are muted. Let's see here. Unmute yourself, please. All
yes.
right.
By now, we should be used to this muting and unmuting, right?
Yeah.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing today? How's Liberia?
Liberia is splendid. It's a bit overcast. You know, it's raining season.
Okay.
So we are it's a little dark, but you know, we're used to it now. But Liberia is good.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, so once again, this is your first time on SKTV. We want to really say thank you to you for accepting our invite to be here. And we are hoping this will not be the last one because it's important to talk to you people, talking about people who are involved, especially I've said this time without number, that I really appreciate and like to see women in politics, especially young women. It's very, very, very important. At the end of the day, you people are the mothers, the wives, the sisters that we depend on. We men depend on the shoulders of women, you know, to do everything we do. So when you guys getting involved and being on the table is very, very important, not only for us, but for the future of our children. So indeed, briefly, if you can, tell us who is Councillor Brumskine.
Great. Okay. Well, so once again, I'm so grateful to be here, honored to represent our country, represent Liberian women who, as you said, you know, oftentimes carry a very, very heavy burden. And I think that we're not given quite enough credit. I mean, myself aside, because I think God has blessed me to receive a lot of recognition, but there's so many Liberian women who really carry the weight of our society on their shoulders, on their heads, literally on their heads, and aren't recognized. So thank you for the recognition of Liberian women. I'm just that. I am simply a Liberian woman. I'm a Christian. I'm a woman of God. That's very important for me. I am a mother. I am engaged to a very amazing Liberian man. I am a counselor at law. I'm one of few Liberian women who are founders and managing partners of law firms in Liberia. I have been blessed to been able to put together a pretty good legal team that is really keeping up with some of the big, you know, we call the good old boys clubs, right? So I'll not call their names, but we know there are some established law firms that really have a reputation of taking the lion's share of the clients. And I think we have been able to compete with them. I think, you know, very high up on the list. I didn't name at first, but obviously I'm the daughter of the late Councillor Charles Walker Brumskine, who was a man of tremendous integrity, a man who was able to grow, develop the third largest political party in Liberia for quite some time. He was not just my political leader and my, you know, political mentor. He was also my professional mentor, one of my best friends. You know, I'm a woman from Grand Bassa County. Just, you know, so many things. So, But I'm simply at heart, I'm a Basake, I'm a Liberian woman. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. So you just mentioned the late councillor, may his soul rest in peace. He was a lawyer. Now you are called Councillor Brumskine. So you decided, you choose that path just to carry the legacy of your father, or you personally have a passion of being a lawyer?
So, so many things I want to say to you. First of all, I want to say that I have learned in my life. This is going to sound crazy what I'm going to say, but I've learned that I don't choose paths. Paths have chosen me, and I will explain that a bit more.
Go.
But I can certainly tell you that it wasn't because of my father's career. Maybe there was some, influence, incidental or accidental influence, but he was never the kind of person to impose his life on us or his choices on us. All three, my brother and my two brothers and myself, all went to law school, but at no point in time was this ever something that Charles Brumskine said you should do. But I think, the law is something that we all saw as a tremendous tool to social justice, to patriotism and changing your country. And to some people, it's a way to amass wealth, So, law, there's so many great things about law, but it certainly wasn't because of him. And I think that, even as we begin talking, I'm sure other things will come up in like politics and other aspects of my life where, Sekou, I really don't believe I chose these things. They were thrust onto me. These things chose me, but we'll talk about it more. So yes, it wasn't because of him. It was because this is a path that I took.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. So another thing I want to ask, this a little bit personal, but I mean, I hope you will just be okay to answer it. You sound very eloquent and fluent in English, more than many of our people back home. So, did you go to school only in Liberia, or you have some Western education?
I went to school in both Liberia and the U.S. As a young girl, I went to J.J. Roberts. Then, when the war started, I went to the U.S. for high school. Went to college in the U.S. and then went to law school in the U.S. So my, tertiary education was in the U.S. But my fundamentals, right here in Liberia.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know, and I like it. Yeah. So when you say you have one of those law firm right now, how long since you started the law firm? Because not too long ago, when the title counselor was affixed to your name, and many of us, we were very proud of you, and we congratulated you and the rest of it. So since when you opened that law firm?
So just so you know, you can be an attorney at law and practice before you become a counselor. So I did become a counselor this year, but I was an attorney at law practicing before. So I actually started practicing. I had my lit consulting firm in 2014.
Okay.
And then in so I was consulting. I had a legal consultancy firm, but I was still working at other places here in Liberia. And then in 2018, we decided to open the law, and I resigned from my other job and went full time into working, to starting this law firm and working for myself. So since 2018, the law firm has been in existence.
Thank you very much. So Steve, I will go to Steve before we might jump into other things in politics later on. I just want to get some of those personal and little bit information about you out of the way. Then maybe later on we will jump into politics. But let me go to Steve to have a conversation with you for a minute. Steve, back to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Connect. Charlyne, good afternoon. Councillor Charlyne, good afternoon, and welcome to SKTV.
Thank you.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to jump straight into the conversation here, and I'd like to go from the angle of your father, first of all. It's been almost 3 years, and I stand to be corrected, since the passing of your father. But before I ask you my question, I'd like to congratulate you because a couple of articles in real time showed that in La Brose you deuce the bar
Deuce.
exam. Yes, you
Can I
deuce.
say I used to say Dukes, and somebody said no, not Dukes, that Deuce. You Deuce the exam.
Yes.
You got Deuce the exam.
Congratulations
That
to
was great.
you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And that was very impressive. But it's been almost 3 years since the passing of your father. My question to you is, what has kept you holding on? And it's one thing for something of that tragic to happen to you and people be around for a couple of months or for years, for 1 or 2 years, but going on to 3 years, you seem to have regained your strength, momentum, enthusiasm. What is your secret and how do you feel today?
Steve, you would make me cry. Like you will really make me emotional because you don't even know me, but you captured, so much in the question you just asked because it has been so difficult. It has been so difficult. I mean, it's one thing to have that relationship that you have, that many, girls or women have with their father. He was really my first love. He was my first love. He was my hero, and his death was so sudden for me. There really was a time in 2019 where I was not, I mean, I can say it now, where I just was like, I don't know how, like, I don't know how I would live in Liberia or beyond, without him. But of course, when you experience a death, and if I don't know if you have, he died from cancer, and if you have anyone who has died from cancer, it is the most wicked, brutal, devastating disease because you see the slow and gradual deterioration of the person. 2019 was extremely difficult for me. And then a lot happened in that time personally. So my mother left because she just could not, she couldn't stay here much longer. I had my children were here in Liberia. And because my father was receiving treatment in the US, so we were back and forth. It was such a difficult time. But when my father passed, my life changed so considerably. I mean, we talk about death changing, but everyone left me. Like my foundation in Liberia, people who everyone left. And then I started to see the slow deterioration or change of his institution of Liberté Party. Then I started to, my law firm that was building up, and I had this political, guru. I mean, excuse me, legal guru to help me. He was no longer there, so guide some of the attorneys and I. So it was a difficult time, but I know the values that Charles Brumskine instilled in me. And when I first started to talk to you, I talked about my faith. That was the first thing I said when Sekou asked about me. I said I talked about my faith because I truly believe in a higher purpose than us here. And I truly believe that, as I said, your destiny captures you and calls you. We like to think, some of us, that we decide which path we're taking. But truly, if you are a spiritual person, you know that there's something greater working. We are vehicles used for the greater glory of something bigger. So I purposed in my heart when I was going through my father's passing that I would be used for this purpose beyond myself. I know that God brought me back to Liberia for a reason in 2013. And I didn't feel in my spirit that it was time for me to give up. I felt that there was still so much for me to do in the country, whether it was through the legal profession, whether it was through my mentorship with young women. I mean, that's a whole other conversation we can talk about with young women here in Liberia and what our value system has imposed on young women, and the issue, without sounding judgmental, but the issues of morality and lifestyle in Liberia. Then talking about just every day how we carry ourselves, as people, whether it's government officials or not, politicians. So I knew that there were a few arenas, sectors in Liberia that God still wanted me to be a part of. So even though it was difficult, I kept going.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your experience with us today. I'd like to pivot just a little debate from your personal experiences, what keeps you going, and what's going on with you. I'd like to ask you an important, I term it as important, but also interesting conversation. Being a lawyer is a high professional profession. Let me say it that way. But it also seems as though you are into politics as well. And politics in Liberia, for the most part, most politicians or politics is termed as corruption or corrupt. The system is corrupt, as we say. Why politics? Why not just stick and be a professional? Stick with your profession, which people earn high reputation. We give an example on Councillor Charlyne and other councillors who've earned a reputation, and even your father. Why come to politics, especially somebody who's being a woman in this territory can be very brutal, very rude, very disrespectful, very undermining. Why politics?
Steve, I ask myself that question every day. Every day. Sometimes, I mean, I don't even know who is listening. I don't know how big your listening audience is. I don't know who's listening, but I would just, some nights I wake up like, my people, what am I thinking? Why? What am I doing? Okay, so let me say to you, this may sound like a cop-out. It may even sound arrogant, but the truth is, I really believe politics chose me. I came to Liberia. I'm a lawyer. When I graduated from law school, one of the first things I did was, one of my first jobs was to work in New York family courts in the Bronx, which is one of the poorest districts, to work with children who have been abused and neglected. Like, I have a passion for children. I have a passion for marginalized people. When I came to Liberia, I was hoping to work at the Ministry of Gender in that field, but it didn't happen. I started to work in a very different area of law. We'll talk about that. Then my father, obviously, Charles Brumskine, started to run. He was running again, 2016, 2017. I remember getting really involved in his campaign. And when I started, it really was from an advocacy perspective. I felt that Liberia, that the people, the masses, were so marginalized. The thing that blew my mind is that death is so common. Lives are worth. People die like this in Liberia. People die because of motorbike accident, lack of proper traffic laws, lack of proper the healthcare system, sexual abuse. I mean, people are just dying. So it is the most fundamental, basic thing. This right to life, right to self-development, right? And we just didn't have it in the country. So I started to get involved in politics from an advocacy perspective, working with young people, going into different communities, talking to women. And Liberia, for some reason, we are cursed with the celebrity of politics. We don't have celebrities in Liberia. Our celebrities are politicians. So when you start to do something that should be advocacy, you get pulled into the big realm of politics. It was something I couldn't help. I was working with Charles Brumskine. We started working with these different groups, and I got called into it. Many people, when I got involved in politics, people wrote me off. They want she's coming from America. That American woman, look at the way she's talking. That lawyer, that this. They did not think I would be able to relate to the masses, or that they would be able to relate to me, or that my message would resonate. And if I may pat myself on the back, I think that because of my involvement in Councillor Brumskine's 2017 campaign bid, we took our campaign. I mean, there are so many other people who I would give credit to. Ben Sambi. At that time, Musa Belite was our chairman. We had Darius Dillon, we had Wade Power, we had Israel Atkins. I mean, all these big names, we had them all working on our campaign team at the time. So it wasn't just me. But it called me in. The people liked what they saw. I think they liked my sincerity, and that's how I ended up with politics.
Okay, just before I transition to Siku, I'd like to ask you a follow-up question. Since you've assumed politics now, you've affirmed that you are into politics and you're a professional.
I always get in, my brother.
Okay, wonderful. Then let's usher the conversation into the political arena because I Sekou area,
I'm
Sekou loves
scared.
politics. Okay, so then
Segu, we had Segu talk beforehand also. Segu said that I can be careful what I say.
But
So
you're
then
good. You're good. Go ahead,
let's,
Steve.
let's dive into the politics of your father, his legacy, the Liberty Party, which has proven over the most recent years to be one of the formidable forces in the political arena in Liberia. Considering, I stand to be correct, that either Liberty Party came the most recent election, came fourth,
Third.
third, I'm sorry, and Prince Johnson came fourth. So fast forward, the Liberty Party seemed to be still in a halu balu, still not where maybe people would want it to be. So my question to you would be, since you are in politics, would you assume the role of political leader should the opportunity be given to you? In the context of saving your father's legacy. Sekou is up to
Steve,
you.
you really want people to come and pour poison in my water tomorrow? What? What a big question. So, let me say to you, Steve, I love your. First of all, let me just say, when you first came on, Sekou had a smile. You did not have a smile, so I was concerned that you were going to be a very rough interviewer, a very mean person. But your questions are great, and your questions are probing. So thank you for these questions. I think that one of the reasons God has blessed me to be where I am today, despite, as we said, me having no real support around me, is that I take my time. I hear the voice of God, and I give deference to where deference is due, and I believe in service before leadership. If I were given the opportunity to be political leader, of course I would not shy away from it. But I don't think that is a discussion that I'm having or anyone's having at the time, because right now our most important thing is to try to get Liberty Party, restore LP to the public image it had before.
Thank you. Sekou is up to you, please.
Well, thank you very much. She said you were not smiling, but you asked some good questions, and I was smiling. I don't want to get the most difficult question. Don't see me smiling with you. it's not a threat, but like Steve said, when it comes to politics, I love politics. So that's why, for the most part, when it comes to politics, I like to ask the political questions. Sometimes it comes across as tough, but sometimes just that's what we most, for the most part, interview on this platform. We call it a conversation because we want you to be comfortable. We want you to have back and forth conversation with us. To the extent where even when you're here for 1 hour, you can say, let's go ahead. I'm enjoying the conversation. That's the kind of conversation we like. Okay. Yeah, we don't like the catch you moment. Okay, oh yeah, okay, yeah. The breaking news. No, that's not what we do. But we stick to the issue. So recently you spoke and you talk about unity, and you just mentioned that trying to restore Liberty Party to where it was. How far is that process as we stand right now?
Thank you for the question. I think we are making tremendous progress towards reconciliation. Councillor Brumskine and the founders of the Liberty Party, the original drafters of our mission statements and our vision for the country. Our 4 hours. Number one, the first one is reconciliation. Councillor Brumskine felt very strongly in the idea of reconciling differences among Liberian people, and particularly within the party. So it's something that many of you know I've pushed since last year. Sometimes I push reconciliation even to my own detriment, because there are people today in Liberty Party who are very unhappy with me because they felt that I should not have been pushing for reconciliation, but that I should have in fact chosen aside, as they said, gotten off the fence, as they said. I got a lot of Liberians, people say latches. I got plenty of latches for, calling for reconciliation. But I do not regret. I think it's what Councillor Brumskine would have called for. So we're making progress. As you know, I mean, this will become more and more public. I think both sides are having conversations, and I'm really hopeful that very soon we will see a unified and reconciled Liberty Party. I'm doing my best. I'm working. Even last night we had a meeting. I'm not sure if it's been posted, with a group of hardcore Liberty partisans who are just tired, fed up with the fighting, fed up with the bickering, especially the public display of bickering, and wants reconciliation. I mean, to be quite honest, once again, I think this gets me in trouble, but I do not care. I think that the problem with LP has been that we have been split, being pulled aside or pulled apart by competing interests external to us, right? So some people want to go to one side, some people want to go to the other side, when this should have never happened. There should have been a collective decision as to how the party would have gone. And if we could not have come to one consensus, then we should have said what Councillor Brumskine has done in the past. My people, you have to decide where you want to go, right? The Liberty partisans can vote for where they want to vote. Now, if we had, and I've said this consistently, a guarantee or a commitment from any political institution that Liberty Party was going to be the VP candidate, right, for the other political institution, if there had been an actual marriage, because there's been a marriage with CPP, but there hasn't been a consummation, so to speak, right? We would definitely pick someone from LP to be your VP. Then we could even see why there had been so much internal wrangling. But if there had been no commitment made from any political party, no obvious commitment to the partisans of LP, that we're going to pick someone from your institution, it be why LP is in the position it's in today. But but to wrap it all up, I can say to you that we are talking. Both sides are talking. LP hopefully will be on the path of reconciliation. I know that Musa Bilite has called for it. I know that Nyamli Kanga Lawrence has called for reconciliation. So I think it's a matter of just working out, what this means for both sides to make sure that we are united very shortly, because this is going to affect us in so many ways. Next year, 2023, what about the Liberty Party candidates who want to run? How is that going to play out? There's so many implications. So,
okay, so as part of that reconciliation, the other day I listened to an interview with Senator Nyamli Kanga Lawrence when she was asked about the same Liberty Party issue. She made mention of that you guys have that you have submitted the Constitution to NEC, and she said NEC has no business into the Liberty Party's internal fight, internal problem. But yet, when she was asked whether or not Musa Bilite was stay the chairman, she said, we submitted a document and we make correction, pay our Flemington Hotel agreement. And then he said that automatically returned the party to status quo ante, which means wheresoever they were at the time, they are back to that position, which means Nyamli Kanga Lawrence, in as much as being suspended by the executive committee, stay per her assumption now, she stayed the political leader, and Musa Bilite, that was somehow denounced by Nyamli and other people for not being the chairman, stayed the chairman. So do you carry the same opinion?
I did hear the interview when Nyamli said that Musa Bilite is the chairman. And I think that is the right way to proceed as it relates to reconciliation, because, some of the it has not been easy. I mean, people have been Papa. People have Somebody said to me the other day, somebody said, y'all have made Charlyne Deborah. So for me to fix some situation that has existed for, months and months and months. The point is, I'm a counselor at law, obviously. I have the DNA of Counselor Charles Brumskine in my veins. In 2017, I want to just take us back a little bit. We, without any disparaging of the people who voted in 2017, we had evidence of substantial fraud in the 2017 election. We had evidence. We presented the evidence to the Supreme Court. At that time, Joe Borka and Unity Party joined us in our case of voter fraud. The Supreme Court they ruled that the evidence wasn't substantial enough to overturn the election. There's so many things I can finally start to talk about now that have kept very personal to myself. I was with my father in his law office at Catholic Junction, 2017, December 2017, when the ruling was coming down from the Supreme Court. My mom was not with him. Nobody was with him. My mom was home. I was in the office. And we had heard someone, I will not say who it is, but someone had said to us that the Supreme Court was going to rule against us. And I remember sitting with him when that ruling came down. And my father, all of us were devastated. But he respected the rule of law. He respected the opinion of the Supreme Court justices. Do we think that even there might have been some, and I'm going to be very careful saying this because I'm a lawyer, I don't want to disrespect anyone on the bench. But let's just say it this way. We didn't agree with the ruling of the Supreme Court, but we respected it. There are people who I have called brother and sister who are so incensed, who are so mad and vexed with me because I have not gone against, the next ruling and the Supreme Court ruling. And at the end of the day, no matter how much we disagree with the court, the highest court, the final arbiter of our law is the Supreme Court. NEC has been given the constitutional mandate. There is a mandate that this next National Election Commission be set up to administer and to adjudicate issues of election matters and inter-party affairs. So when NEC gives its ruling, even if we disagree, even if I feel that everyone on the NEC commission is corrupt, we accept the ruling. So I have accepted, and I think when Yumli's position was that Musa is chairman and NEC has said X, Y, and Z is the right thing to do. And we find a way to now reconcile the party.
Are you aware of any direct conversation between Yumli and Musa? Can you speak to that?
No, I am not aware of any direct conversation, but what I do know is that both parties are having conversations.
And what is the prospect of you achieving your goal in terms of bringing Liberty Party to where it was? What is the prospect of that? How confident are you?
I'm 100% confident that Liberty Party will survive, and Liberty Party, as long as 5 of us are living who believed in the founding values, the fundamental basic values, the purpose, the mission of Liberty Party, it will survive. Even if it means some people will leave the party, if it means some people will go to other institutions, Liberty Party will survive and Liberty Party will be restored.
All right. That's good. So, do you have an ambition for running for any position come 2023? If so, which one?
I'm running for president of the Republic of Liberia. I'm just.
I'm gonna clap for you.
Announce here first.
No, I'm gonna clap. It is still that quick to be leaning on people. I started leaning on yourself already.
Joe Barker and Cummings, be ready. No, I'm joking. We have been exploring the possibility of running for the House of Representatives from District 3 in Grand Bassa County, which is Buchanan City, my home. So we are still in the exploration stage. We believe that it's important to engage. We've been engaging with many of the stakeholders there. Buchanan is demographically, Buchanan is a very youthful city, has many young people. And then it's an urban, Buchanan is just like Monrovia. It's an urban city. It's cosmopolitan. There is, we have the university there now. We have trade schools. We have markets. People from Bassa, every weekend we in and out of Monrovia. We have the ports. We have a Cllr Metal, but we lack substantial development. There is no reason Grand Bassa County should be where it is today. It is a beautiful county. It's accessible, easily accessible to Monrovia. It has a port. It has natural resources that a Cllr Metal is taking from us, right? And our people are not, benefiting at the level they should be benefiting. We have had leaders at the legislative level, I believe, that have not done what they should be doing. We have right now, one of the biggest issues in Grand Bassa is the public government hospital, which is a referral hospital for so many different other hospitals. We have our budget for that hospital is $100,000. $100,000. The average person makes more than that in the U.S., right? That is the budget. There's not fuel. We got a call the other day because July 26th is coming. I wanted to take some rice and stuff to the hospital. We were told fuel. The people need fuel. The government hospital is now going to be charging people for certain fees. The public hospital for fees. The average woman who's selling in the market, the average motorcyclist, the elderly people who can't afford 500 LD a day are now going to be paying for service. So, these are all the shortcomings, all the deficits that we have in that district. But so we're exploring the possibility. But if I run, I would. You all be the first to know.
Okay, we didn't hear that. We're breaking. I want you to say that again, please. I think somebody was calling you.
I said we're exploring. I don't know. I think it's the end. I have my Wi-Fi on, but it is going in and out. We're exploring.
But it's good.
We have not yet made a affirmative decision, but if we do, the two of you will be the first to know.
All right, that's great. So this is going to be my last question. Then I'll go to for now. Then I'll go to Steve. Right now we are exploring for a representative seat in Grand Bassa County, and honestly speaking, it is inarguable that the Liberty Party is divided. Hopefully, you guys will come together. That's just something I have personally talked about in public, in private. I've talked to both Musa and Yombly, and I've said over here that why would you want to break your home for other people? I've said that and I still maintain it. So I personally think the Liberty Party should come together. However, as is right now, the challenge, the hill is too high. The tension are enormous. So, assuming hypothetically, so I don't want to be seen as somebody who's trying to create a problem for Liberty Party, but assuming hypothetically, we know Yombly leaning towards Joseph Numa Boakai. If Yombly did not agree, or she does not agree to go or reconcile with the Liberty Party, now Liberty Party officially endorsed Cummings. Musa Belete is saying that he doesn't want to go for president or vice president. And now Liberty Party is not the Liberty Party and ANC in the collaboration currently, as we know it. We know if Cummings is to be the standard bearer of the CPP, the vice standard bearer cannot come from the ANC. Are we looking at Charlyne Brumskine as vice presidential hopeful?
So the people will think I paid you. They will think I paid you to ask me these questions. My people, I did not. Me and this man had no prior conversation about this.
You even told me I want to ask you this question, but
I told him not to Give
But
me
I have
any
to.
political
I have to. It's important because those are the conversations out there that people want to know. People want to know what is in the minds of the people, not only and not just everybody, but people that have the potential, that have some level of leadership in them. Right now, the fight in the Liberty Party is lack of leadership. That's just the fact. We said, and I still maintain, if our Liberty Party throwing hard for presidency, wherein everybody competing, the three major parties in the CP were competing, people are going to come to Liberty Party where you can negotiate from a position of strength to ask you, please come and be my vice president. You don't go compromise yourself or destroy your party to be vice president for somebody. But because the lack of leadership on the part of the Liberty Party, something we spoke of over and over, that's how we got here. So I'm asking you now that Musa Belete is saying he's not going to, and if it leave with only Liberty Party and the ANC, and Yomle is not in the picture, because if Yomle goes with the UP or whatever DAL, that means Liberty Party will be with ANC, and then decision will be made between the two parties, vice president and president. So I'm asking you that if you are to be given that opportunity, will you let go the ambition for the representative position and go for the vice president?
So let me start by saying that one of the beautiful things about Liberty Party, and I think one of the great things about Councillor Brumskine, is that he ran a very democratic institution, and I think that no leader. First of all, there are a couple of things that have happened in LP that I think have been absolutely wrong. A leader doesn't make a decision without consultation. Okay, so Liberty Party has an executive committee, a national executive committee that will make decisions. We have an advisory council. We have a strong, robust, a very active and engaged group of partisans that will decide who a VP should be. So it's not something I've talked to anyone about. It's not something we've explored. I would leave that to our people to decide. But if I were given the opportunity, do I think that I could be vice presidential candidate material? I should say, certainly. I I am one of the most professionally accomplished women in Liberia. I am a woman who literally grew up watching one of the most integral, one of the most principled leaders create an institution from nothing to bring it to where it was. I'm someone who I have been able to, my message, my life has been able to resonate with many, many Liberian men and women at home and abroad. I have gone to schools and interacted with some of the bigwigs in the US. I've made connections throughout. I'm not selling myself yet. I'm just telling you who I am. However,
go ahead.
However, I don't think that's a discussion that needs to be had at this time. I think that, we as the LP, as I said to you, when I had this meeting of these partisans last night, some of them called me after the bigger group to say, look, right now, we just want our party to be reconciled. I think this idea, this mentality is what got us to where we are now. Individuals thinking that they were the ones who should be deciding the way of the institution. I don't think that's what needs to happen. But I, Charlyne Brumskine, certainly believe that I'm qualified to lead in almost every capacity. I don't think it's time for me to be president of Liberia, but I think I can lead. Now, I also want to say there are others in Liberty Party, not just me, who I think are quite capable of being vice presidential material. So we have a good cadre of Liberians who may not be vocal all the time, but who are really working behind the scenes to move our country forward.
Thank you. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Connett. Well, for all indications, yes, you were trained. Yes, you were trained by
The counselor.
Not only a seasoned counselor or lawyer, but also a strategic politician. I like the way you're answering the questions. But we'll push you because that's why you're here. We'll push you a little further because
Oh goodness. I thought I had gotten away with it.
you finally got me to be smiling here. So let's stick with the politics for a little bit. But I'd like to divert before we come back to the politics. Maybe there is something we didn't catch or I didn't catch, but I'd like to catch it. I believe in law there are different practices or different things. I'm not sure about how it works in Liberia. Some are family lawyers, some are criminal lawyers or defendants or whatever now. What is your practice? What are limitations? What do you do so that we know exactly where to go?
Great. Okay. So you're right. You in the US, there are, big firms, and then there are specialties. You specialize law, so you're either in the intellectual property department, you're in the corporate department, you do criminal, in Liberia, many of the firms and many of the lawyers don't have the luxury of specializing. So we kind of do a cross-cutting profession. However, for me, I am a corporate and commercial lawyer. Most of my law is transactional law. I don't enjoy litigating. I don't enjoy being in court. It's not my cup of tea. I am a corporate lawyer. But because of the way our practice is, you have to be in court sometimes. You have to be able to do, but criminal law is not something that I do. It is usually corporate and commercial.
Okay. Well, the future looks bright for Liberia, whether it's you, whether it's other younger people that are involved with politics in Liberia or out of Liberia. So I'd like to push you now, go back to the politics, because we are talking about the Liberty Party, but I want to talk about the CPP.
Okay.
You as a lawyer, you who grew up around someone with integrity, you who were reared by a man of impeccable character. What do you say about what happened within the CPP, the case with Mr. Alexander Cummings? That includes Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence being on record, Joseph Yuma Boyka being on record, and Benedict Ure being on record. What do you say about what happened within the CPP? I want to generalize the question. I want to be specific. What is
Thank
your
you.
take?
I mean, you went off a little bit, the internet, so I want to make sure that so the question is, you said these three people being on record for saying what? I didn't get that.
In terms of the accusation on Mr. Cummings. Yes.
Well, so that's not a legal question. Those are factual questions. Because your question you're asking me is, right? So it's not a legal question. You're asking me whether or not I think that the allegations are accurate. And let me put it this way. I am not going to answer that question directly, because if I answer the question directly, then it means that either I'm saying Mr. Cummings is a crook, or I'm saying the other three people lied on him. So either way, what I will say, what I will say is that I have a great deal of respect for Alex Cummings. I have a great deal of respect for him. I have been in his company on more than one occasion. I have had one-on-one meetings with him on more than one occasion. And I have never been given any reason to believe that Mr. Cummings would jeopardize and sacrifice so much of, what he's built and what he could potentially build to engage in alleged criminal activity. That's it. I don't know. I wasn't involved at that time with the drafting of the CPP framework. I was not on the EC when they decided to do the signing off. I was not involved. So I can just give my personal opinion about Mr. Cummings, and it would be hard for me to believe that he would engage in criminal activity.
Yes, politics run in your blood. You're 100% right. You are confirming and affirming this here today. But let's move back to the Liberty Party, because on SKTV, Sekou and maybe other people, myself, I've said it openly that I believe the way to the presidency is through the Liberty Party. Not only because of the consistency of the election results in Liberia, maybe the 2 or 3 elections, but just the hopefulness in the Liberty Party. There's so much potential in the Liberty Party. I've seen the Liberty Party. I've seen the structured. I've seen members of the Liberty Party. I had the opportunity to even interact with members of the Liberty Party in Pennsylvania last year. For the very first time, I met Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence in person. We had a conversation. So,
and you got to, and you had left everybody, and y'all were talking for more than 40 minutes.
No. We're not going- but we did have
because that guy was leading Liberty Party. So
yeah, I still leaning Liberty Party. I'm still
That's
leaning
great.
Liberty Party as of
That's
now.
great. That's great. That's
I say,
great.
as of now, I'm still leaning. I don't know yet. My heart could change tomorrow. But the question here is you raised something very important, whether that was to confirm indirectly or not. You said this last year, in credit to Front Page Africa, December 22nd. This is what you said when you had a press conference. I'd like to read this just for the audience's sake. I believe these are your words and you remember them. But let me read them really quick here. Quote, if we do not reconcile as a party, we are useless to this nation. What good is a party with a leadership structure and executive committee recognized by the neck, but who do not have a strong constituent base? What good is a strong and a large constituent base with a leadership structure that is not recognized by neck? We are nothing until we are one. If we continue to fight like this, we are of service to no one, certainly not any political institution, and definitely of no use to the country. The masses are looking at us, are looking to us. Our country needs strong political institutions as the prop for good governance. What do you mean? Because it seemed as though, based on what I've read from that transcript, you took a swap on both sides. You tried to stay as neutral as possible. What do you mean when you?
So
Yes.
let me interrupt you for a second. We agree for her to come here and be here for only 1 hour.
Yes.
Today, I know we started the show a little bit late, but maybe for another 7 minutes, that would take us to 1 hour, 10 minutes into the show, which will give her the exact 1 hour of bringing her on. I just want to stick to that. So that way, she can be encouraged to come the next time. So you will not say, oh, no, when I went there the last time, they held me hostage. So, yeah, so I just want you to make your question brief so she can answer it. Maybe we can ask one or two more questions. But first, you got to stick around. The conversation we are having right now, we'll have post-interview discussion. You will be given the opportunity to call in and tell her what you think about the interview and the rest of it. So I just wanted to put that on there. I'm very conscious about your time and want to make sure we stick to that. Steve, go ahead.
So here's my question based on what I read. My Oma in Grand Bassa might not understand what you meant by this. My people in Nima County might not understand what you meant by this. What do you mean to the common or the local people? What are you trying to say here?
To the local people, Liberty Party must come together. That's it. Liberty Party must come together and be one party. This is how when I'm in Bassa, because the Bassa people, their Liberty Party business are not small thing. Like their Liberty Party business is not a small thing. So they don't know, they're confused, they're hearing all kind of things that are not true. What we say to them is, what I tell the Bassa people is, Bassa people, because just like how there's so much division in LP, there's all these issues. Even our Bassa politics is very divided. And we've been talking about reconciliation within the Bassa politics. So the way I explain it is that if the people want development in the county, they must learn to speak with one voice. Because if you look at someone like the president, like George Weah now, who is going to be running for election again, right? George Weah will say, the Bassa people, they can speak with one voice. When the Bassa people say they're going somewhere, this way, that way, they will go. So my people, we got to make sure we give the Bassa people what they want so that they can come to us. It's the same thing within LP. In order for us to have the power that we want, to be able to sway or persuade or motivate or engineer the results, or help to engineer, when I say engineer, the results of the 2023 elections, we must come together. Joseph Boyka, Cummings, whoever else is going to be running, not going to choose any institution to be vice standard bearer if the institution is divided. So the bottom line is, if we want to really make a difference, we must come together as one. Strength in numbers. Everybody know that one. Strength in unity. It's a simple political concept.
I know you will answer Seku's question. You will answer Seku's question, but let me just add this to it, please. Just as a side question for you to please carry on. This will be my last question for today. Most recently, I think a day or two ago, and I stand to be corrected, there was, I think you guys were in Grand Basson. Senator Yombly Kanga was there. I seen the video. Also, former chairman Steve Zago was there. And Steve Zago kept using the word, I got your back. I got your back. Now, I know this question should be directly directed to him as to what he meant, but I want to ask you, what does that mean to you?
Are y'all the FBI or CIA or KGB?
Circle back to you. Circle back to you. What does that really mean?
We're gonna let her go anyway. But go ahead and answer Steve's question, please, if you can.
It's funny because you're two of y'all, y'all know everything. Obviously, y'all know what happened to me. And let me just say to you, sometimes to my own detriment, I protect people. I protect others. Because I, specifically within the Liberty Party, because I want us to reconcile and unify. I will not get into too much detail as to what Steve Zago meant. But y'all know, and many people know, what Steve Zago meant when he stood, the man from Lofa, the senator from Lofa, when he stood in Bassa and said, I got Councillor Brumskine's daughter back. You know what it means. But yet and still, we want to keep the party reconciled. We're here to hack. We're not here to air dirty laundry, because we're keeping it internal. But Steve Zago knows a lot that's happening internally, and he wants to make sure that Bassa people know that Brumskine was the one who lifted many hands and got many folks elected in Liberia. So do the right thing is what he was trying to say.
All right. So on that note, I want to say thank you very, very much. I was just going to ask you a question, then you answer that and then close and give me a closing statement. But people can stay around because there are a lot of things that came out. We will talk about it. I would have loved to have you here more than 1 hour. But again, we can stay rescheduled for another time. This time around, I think it should be on a weekend, wherein we're going to be on the radio in pretty much in about 9 or 13 counties in Liberia. So we can have another conversation. I'm loving the conversation.
Me too.
Yeah. So, and I promise you that it's not going to be a conversation that will be hostile or that will make you to feel like, I can't wait to get out of here. No, we don't do that.
Thank you.
So before you leave, we all spoke of, peace and unity within the Liberty Party. I've said again over and over that I'm very close to Liberty Party people because I got a lot of friends in the Liberty Party, more than any other political party. Except for recently, I've developed a lot of friendship now in the ANC. I got a lot of good friends, people that I know long time ago in the Unity Party. People were surprised to see me in, the Unity Party co-chair for administration operation, or in my house here, having, our tie and meet together. People were shocked. But those are friends that we had before politics. So similarly, I have a lot of friends in the Liberty Party. So what I want to see is unity. So you spoke of unity. You have gone at your own detriment, according to you, just to protect people. And this time around, we expect you to go at your own detriment to make sure that Unity Party is united.
Yeah.
So what message? I want you to give message to every person in the Unity Party.
Liberty.
What message can you give them right now that you think will help unite the party? What message can we tell them? Everybody involved.
I think the message has been consistent. I am not one to waver. I think, I pray, I meditate, I consult before I make decisions, and it's very it's unlikely that I will change my decision. My position has always been reconciliation. What does that mean in a very practical sense right now for Liberty partisans in the US and in Liberia? It means that we must come together. We must recognize the leadership as determined by NEC and by the Supreme Court ruling. There will never be any perfect leader. No political institution in Liberia has a perfect standard bearer, a perfect political leader, a perfect chairman. But what we do is we work with the leadership, holding them accountable with the right constitutional documents and with the votes of the Liberian of the partisans. Liberty Party, come back. Come back together. We have a critical election right at our heels. We need to be the ones to decide which way Liberia will go. It is up to every one of us, whoever believed in Councillor Brumskine, even if you did not like him, you believed in his vision, you believed in his ideology, you believed in his principles and the principles of this party. The party is not dead. Our founding father has left us, but the party is not dead. There are many people who still espouse the values that Councillor Brumskine had. Come back to Liberty Party, hold your leaders accountable, hold yourselves accountable. Let's move our country in the right direction.
That's great. So should we consider that as your closing statement, or you want to have a closing statement?
I just want to say that's my closing statement, but I want to say thank you so much. This was actually one of the best interviews I've had. I think that you guys were so prepared. I did not actually have done more research on the two of you. I did not do enough research because you obviously know more than any interviewer I've had. You guys, this was a great interview. Thank you for trying to uncover the truth. Thank you for not being belligerent, not being antagonistic, and not coming. I don't think you came with a mission. You didn't come with a preconceived notion. No. So this is really enjoyable. Thank you so much, and I look forward to coming back.
Of course. Thank you very much. And it will be very soon. We'll reach back to you. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor.
So, Steve?
Yes.
There you have it.
Well, folks, there you have it. We are back to our regular conversation, and the post-interview will be opening the line soon. Mr. Kane, what is your take? What do you think?
Personally, I think she has a very good personality. She does not speak with arrogance, but she knows exactly what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing, and she's not sounding like someone who try to tell you what you would like to hear. She tell you exactly how she feel about things, and I like that. This is my first time talking to her. Actually, with all the conversation we'll be having about bringing her on the show, we never talk. We just been texting, communicating. Never heard her voice today. That was just about 20 minutes before the show. When she called me, she said, "Sekou, I don't know how you guys do your thing, but I don't want to engage in dirty politics. I don't know if that's because that's what I've been seeing in a lot of other platforms. So I don't want to engage in dirty politics about anybody, about this and that, or such and disrespecting people." I said, "No, that's not what we do." That was the only time I spoke to her before this interview. So she's sounding very promising. And I don't think people should be afraid or somehow feel uneasy to hear her talking about her ambitions. You are who you are, and every party should be proud to have a young woman like her on, in your camp, on your team, because not only she's very professional, but she's very eloquent. You want that kind of person on your team that can make the case based on facts, based on knowledge. Yeah. So if you ask me what do I think she is brilliant, intelligent. Until otherwise proven, I think she can be trusted. So yeah, that's until otherwise proven. Because I mean, this is our first interaction. But what I heard and what she stands for, you know, given what she said about, even though they did not agree with the Supreme Court ruling that time when her father was alive, but they respected it. That's how every law-abiding person should be. Like the Cabinet Janet's case. I agree with it, but we respected it because that's what they say, even though we question the credibility of the Supreme Court. But the fact that Cabinet Janet availed himself and allowed the process to go through and the ruling came down, you may not accept it, you may not like the outcome, but you have to respect it. That's exactly what happened. If you don't like it, you can take other recourse. But I think the interview was good, and that's about her. But a lot of things came out. A whole lot of things came out. So we'll discuss that later on as we have other people, coming in to contribute.
Yes, I'd have to agree with you. Just to add up to what you've said, I think she's a leader. I do think so. She speaks very strategically, measured, and very cautioned. I'm not sure if that was the fact that, or is the fact that she's a professional. I think it has a lot to do with how she was brought up, how she was trained, because it takes a lot of work, time, and investment. People think people just come on these platforms or turn a Facebook on or just come on live or whatever now, or the TV, however you want to term it, and they just see this brilliant person, not just today. It takes a lot of work. A lot of things happen behind closed door. Like for example, most people did not even know, or most people are not even aware that Mr. Kenneth served as the president for the biggest Mandingo associations, maybe in the world, FEMOSA. Most people might not know that you served as president for FEMOSA, So maybe when they see you on here, most people might not even be aware that, you were actively involved on listserv when Facebook were not around. You've been communicating. You've been leader. You've been, running things around. Most people might not. The thing they see you on Facebook today, they just see you and you're just acting the way you're acting, And so some of these things, when you look at it, you got to go back to the genesis. So I think that's where it stems. But also, you made a very good point that I found quite interesting, that apart from the Musa ability and Senator Kangat Lawrence Halu Balu that has led the Liberty Party the way it is today, I think there are other bigger problems there. Because I listened to Steve Zago very shortly when he spoke. It is interesting how he kept on reassuring that he has Charlyne Brumskine's back more than once. There are a lot of things going on within the party. And I also like the fact that she was not political when she was asked the question whether she would assume the role of the leadership of the Liberty Party. Let me tell you something. Whether you man or you woman, me, I like for people to be straightforward. Let's keep it 100%. You know what I mean? As opposed to being fake and playing around, going around the bush. and say, "Oh, that politics." No, that's not politics. You got to stay where you are.
And she was very upfront to tell you that's not what is going on right now. I'm not having any conversation. But if the possibility or the
she will take it all.
Then it solves.
She will take it all.
I mean that's being honest.
Exactly.
And let me and then Steve to another point. Somebody said when I asked the question,
be answering
whether or not I'm not hearing you. Okay, Steve, stay for a second. So when I
before it goes off, let me get a charger.
That's fine. So when I asked her the question, whether or not she's ready to be a vice presidential candidate or for the vice presidential position, she was very clear. She says she's not having any conversation with anybody about that. But if that happened to be the case, she will definitely consider it. She is a vice presidential material based on her professional background and her accomplishment, experience being around one of the best in the Liberian politics. So people should not be angry when we ask those questions. It's always good to get into the minds of the people, especially people involved in politics. It's always good to have competition. Saying that if you can do it, somebody else can do it. If you think you know it all, there are other people who knows. So, if there was a competition from all 4 political parties in the CPP, we would not be where we are today. If there was a competition in the CPP for the presidency, we would not be where we are today. Because Boakai, Combs, Yombly, and Ure, everybody will be fighting for themselves, for their party, if they know they have the best interest and they have the best people. They will have been fighting for themselves. And then in the end, the process will have gone through. Then the first person will have won it. And the second person will have been approached. I'm on the show, okay? The second person will have been approached by the first person to, you know what? Since we are first and this group is second, it's advisable to get to this group and also talk to other people for the vice presidential position and other position. But the fact that Benin Ayure prematurely, even before they came out with their document, the framework document, Benin Ayure prematurely said that Boakai is the only qualified person, most educated person to be president. That created a problem. And Yombly people thought she was very, very, very ready. She did not throw her heart into anything. I believe if Yombly was going to say, I'm going to run for president, like Liberty Party won the presidency, trust me, Musa Bellet or any other person who have given their support to anybody, they will have supported their party. Until you cannot compete anymore. So competition is very good. And anybody that was going to come to Yombly for vice presidency, they're going to come to her knowing the fact that she don't want to be president, that she's qualified on day one, that should anything happen to the president, she's qualified to step up to be president. But you cannot settle for less. You cannot settle for less. So competition is good. This young lady that we just interviewed here, she might not be as young as many of you think. Her face looks very, very young, but maybe she's not that young like the way you think. I think she's fit to be a leader based on what we heard from her the way she talk, the way she understand the issue and everything, I think she can be a good leader. I don't know for which position, I don't know, but it's up to the people to decide. But again, I believe Nyombli made a big mistake for not listening to people like me. Because I said this in public, I said it in private. Do not destroy your party for anybody. Run for president. You are qualified. You can do it. If you fail, then you can settle for something else. But once you minimize yourself, people will always look down upon you.
Well, Mr. Kane, I think that was a strategic blunder or mistake by the Liberty Party at that time. But I also think the biggest mistake came because there was also a second chance when Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence decided to do two things: to affix her signature with Joseph Yoma Boakai and Bernard Ayure to accuse Mr. Cummings. That was absolutely wrong. That was a huge mistake.
No, that was after the whole thing went wrong. I'm talking about the
No. I'm saying that mistake of her not throwing her hat in the race or coming to the table was the initial mistake. However, she had the opportunity to redeem
as a matter of fact, Steve, not to cut you not to cut you off. Coming into the CPP, Unity Party, per the last election, 2017, Unity Party was the second bigger party, next to Unity Party. I mean, Liberty Party was next to Unity Party, and then Liberty ANC was the third in terms of the number, giving the number that all of them received in 2017. So for somebody in the second position throw their hat, failed to throw their hat into the competition, that was a terrible mistake. Now, as we speak, right before that time, before they jump into this fighting, Steve, we all said it over and again that the Liberty Party is not only the most organized, the most reputable and disciplined party until they started fighting among themselves, because the inability to run for, to say, you know what, we have somebody here, we got people here that are qualified to be president. We too can throw our heart in it. It doesn't have to be Yomli if she doesn't want to do it. But the Liberty Party should have said, you know what, we can run for president too. They should have.
Well, again, 100% correct, spot on. Again, the three major mistakes that brought the Liberty Party to where it is today and brought Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence and Musa Abele to where they are today. The two major problems were also, I expected Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence to play a motherly role. Send the men that want to be making noise and want to be fighting, play the motherly role. Let them come to you. Don't get involved with other thing. Don't get involved with it. The first step she took, which was more strategic, when she came back from the US and that complaint was brought, because mind you, she was not in Liberia when the initial complaint came out. She was in the US. When she went back to Liberia, guess what happened? She constituted an investigation. Stop there. Relax. Don't take no side in this thing. Relax. But in the last place, she made a serious mistake that led the Liberty Party to where it is. And I will continue to say it, whether anybody likes it or not, it doesn't matter to me. The truth is she should have paid that money. She should have paid that due. That particular due is a problem, it's a monkey, it's not going to go away. That particular due money that she never paid is a problem. All the other people that didn't want to pay, I don't care about them as much as I care about her because she is the political leader. She should have paid that money. Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence have done more for this party than that money. That money not anything. You understand? That money not anything. She should have paid that money. There was no need at the time to put her that resistance for not paying the money. She should have paid that money, maintain her seat, and strategically move in the party, restructure, organize, do what she wanted to do. The fact that she didn't pay that money, that particular noise is now going away. Because anytime she wants to bring out any kind of legal argument, like this when she brought it up, the June 28th, that ruling that came up from the Supreme Court even states, term her as formal. It's a problem, Mr. Kane. It's no joke. And people are taking it for a joke. It is no joke. You're muted.
Yeah, so it may not be a joke legally, but let me tell you something. All those things can be because of the infighting. I can tell you, if there's peace among them, you can sort it out. They can fix all that thing behind the scene. Let me
I
tell
agree.
you.
I agree.
That thing, you know, former this one, the chairman, and normally put into the same Musa now chairman, they fire Musa. Musa now the chairman. Yeah, anybody can say anything, you know, in terms of fighting. People are fighting. Somebody will always say something to get under the skin of the other person. And legally, the thing that really make the two whole thing difficult, and I think that also make it better, is the fact that they all now agree on one thing, that the legitimate and legal document is the one that they I don't know, 2017 or 2016, 2019, what year, whatever that was, the Banga Convention, they had the document that came out of there. The fact that all of them agree with that. Secondly, the Farmington Agreement, whatever that agreement was, the fact that that has been inserted into the document to make everybody happy, everybody agree with that. I see no reason for them to be fighting.
What?
Let both Nyomli and Musa open their arms to each other, and there are people behind them too, talking about their supporters, the other members of the executive committee, the other member that supporting Nyomli. Let all of them just put, you know, the fighting behind them, and bring together the party. Focus on your party, make your party vibrant, and then think about where to go next. The Liberty Party, I mean, the Unity Party that Nyomli and Dillon are following, what happened in, how do you call it? What happened in Lofa right now got the Unity Party very devastated, confused, and people don't even know where they are going right now. So, what would you want to, in fact, when you were considered as one of the best, reputable, and organized party, what would you want to break down your party for people who are not even organized?
Yeah, they got someone on that. They got someone on that. We just looking funny in the town. We were leaning towards them. No joke. We just looking funny. Even my boy from Lofa County, Steve, are gonna funny fake as the man, because right now the man just looking funny in the town. He now coming back to me. So I told him to slow down. He listened to me too. I told him to slow down.
So when you ask me, if you ask me right now, even though Musa Belete calling himself acting political leader and then chairman, when you ask me, I would say, Nyomli political leader, Musa Belete chairman, you all come together, case closed. Everybody, like Nyomli said in our interview, that after that document submitted, they return to status quo antique. Let it just go by that and move on. Forget about this infighting. In fact, Steve, let me say this before we go on the line, right? Even though Nyomli and Ure did not develop any interest for the presidency, but per the structure of the CPP, Nyomli was the one to be the vice president either way, whether it's Boakai or Kumis, because Benina Ure didn't want to run for president. Everybody know Benina Ure, you know, and even people there who are now people that Benina Ure been supporting, you know, financially and everything, they know Benina Ure can go on their ticket for vice president. They even get angry when you say Benina Ure vice president for Boakai. They get angry at you. When they eating the man money in the man, it's okay. But then when you call the man name for vice presidency, then men are bukume, which is bad. But what I'm trying to say here is that either way, whoever are going to clinch the nomination for the Senate bureauship of the Liberty of the CPP, we're definitely going to have to turn to Nyomli. Either way, because Boakai can't be vice president no more than what their people say. And Komi said he got in this thing to be president. Anything else, he will talk about that later on.
Yeah, the bomb Boakai to be president. So
that means that leaves Nyomli that either way it goes, she was going to be the person, you know, to be considered, because Benina Ure can't be vice president or anything. Somebody said, but you gave me win town chief, in his own district. So Yombly misread everything that was going on, and people around her, people that were advising her, the one that she listened to, they didn't give her good advice. Because either way it go, Yombly was still going to be the vice president for the CPP.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you the question for opening lab arguments, because we got to provide clarity and context to this thing. Now, where things stand, what do you think Senator Yombly can get chances of being vice president, whether from the Joseph Yuma Boaga side or from the Alexander Cummings side? Where do you think she stands?
The way it stands right now, if you ask me, I'm not sure Boaga will run for president.
Okay, so let's exclude Boaga. Let's focus on.
So if Liberty Party already endorsed, Liberty Party stay in the CPP. So if Liberty Party get their act together, Yombly could potentially still be the vice president for Cummings.
You sure?
If the Liberty Party get their act together and they already endorsed it, they're in the CPP, of course she will, because Musa Belete is now running for vice president. And who is powerful in Liberty Party more than Yombly? Who can bring the number more than her when they're united? When they're divided, that's a different ballgame. But when they're united, definitely there will be nobody else. The fight supposed to be between her and Musa Belete. Musa Belete says he's not running for anything. So definitely, if the Liberty Party get their act together, definitely Yombly will be the vice president for the CPP. Since, in fact, she didn't want to run for president. Because I wanted her to run for president.
Well, I think, in all honesty, I think
that's what
this is politics. This is politics, right? And some things are possible.
And again, I'm sorry, when I say Boakai will not run for president, but even if Boakai runs, Yombly becoming the vice president for Boakai is still hard. I just want to add that. Sorry.
Yes, from the local things, some things are possible in politics. Some things also are not possible. Let me just be honest. Such as I've seen some. Let me use the word myopic because they're short-sighted. Some short-sighted supporters of Joseph Yuma Boakai or some short-sighted UPS posting on Facebook comments. I listened to somebody yesterday. It just kind of tell me that some people, something is wrong with them. Or Cummings should extend olive branch to Boakai and talk to Boakai so he can go as VP. And I just sat down for long and said, some people, they own a problem in more than something. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Mr. Cummings has said he is now running for vice presidency. So that's off the table. I know that's the wish of some people. So that's off the table. But the point I'm mostly concerned about is Senator Yombly Kangas Lawrence's ability to rekindle this relationship. This relationship must, if there will be any chance, it must be rekindled. It was not Cummings who went and said to Senator Yombly Kangas Lawrence that he authored document and he must take responsibility. It was her who did that. It is the opposite. Let me say this. This thing in Liberia where people think that they're entitled to certain things, or people might do this one, people might do that one, or on a gender basis. No, it's not like that. It's not going to work. It needs to be clear out. The scene, and I wrote a post this morning as if people are in the feeling getting there. Who tell you say I get problem with anybody? I will read what's on the red on my Facebook. You now won't comment on it, leave it. You pass. You won't comment, I will answer you. Based on proportionally, I will answer you. If you can't have a reasonable conversation, we'll have conversation. You can't, you won't misbehave. I will not say for safekeeping. I will reply to you exactly the same way. But the point I'm trying to make is this. There has to be that conversation that should be started now. Because there is bad blood. Whether you like it or not, there is bad blood. Whether it's from the Cummings side or the Liberty Party side, Senator Yombly Kangas Lawrence she got two fights she needs to face. She needs to reconcile her party. And we have called for that from the beginning. Reconcile this party. It's critically important. But then also, she got to come to the table for she and Mr. Cummings to talk. If this, because she's not going to be picked as vice president because somebody say, oh, pick female or pick the one. that's not going to be possible. The relationship got to be rekindled. And to her credit, I will say this, to her credit, based on credible information we have, I will say this though. You know, when we say some of these things, people want to say you lean into what they or you for the person. To Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence credit, when Benena Ure started his attack on Mr. Cummings, it was Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence. Most people in the ANC don't know about this. They don't know. It was Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence who stood with Mr. Cummings, and sometimes she would even go at length to argue with Benena Ure and tell him to cut the crap out or stop this nonsense. Records are there. It is proving. And I challenged them in a chat room, in the CPP chat room, to say that lie. I challenged them. The challenge Brumskine said, we are connected, we'll do our research. So she did some good work, to be quite honest. She did some good work in support of Mr. Cummings when they plot and they plan. But I'm not sure at what point she got swayed away and I played that neutral role as a mother and say, when the facts are here, I will stick with it. When the facts are not there, I'm not going to go there. I'm not sure at what point she got into the middle of all of this and got caught up with it to the point wherein she followed Benena Ure in his accusation that was not founded by any iota of truth today. It will not be founded by any iota of truth tomorrow. So she did some good thing. She at some point she just got lost in the middle of everything. So I mean they can do whatever they want to do. But I'm saying if you go behind the horse, your ANC people and you do that. La bureau, we la polity, let the political.
Yeah. So, like you said, some ANC people may be aware about, maybe aware of some of those things, and you know, we don't like to talk, especially when it comes to our personal relationship and connection with everybody involved in politics, whether in government, whether in opposition or non-position. Not everybody, that kind of sets us different from other people. We maintain relationship, we maintain friendship.
Yeah.
We always state the truth and maintain our relationship with people. I know very well, some people will not like it. I know very well Yombly is a good person. I've said this, some people don't like me to say it, but no, she's a good person. And I believe, and I said it before, that both Yombly and Boakai were victims in this fight. They found themselves into something. If they were to redo it again, trust me, they would do it differently. There's some people that they listen to. Not only that they are not sincere, they're also not credible. And some of the people then, pretend to them that they are with them.
Yeah.
And then do otherwise. They were not honest. Many of them were not honest to Yombly and Boakai up to now. That's why, just for an example, since the Lofa election, the Unity Party and Boakai, they are yet to concede and congratulate the winner. Now the winner has been satisfied. Now when they satisfied being inducted. Now Wani and Danny, with the same people that were with Unity Party campaigning in Lofa County, why don't you concede now and move on? Make you a bigger person and learn from your mistakes. So, okay, what happened? People who went and campaign with you, the likes of Darius Dillon and other people, they campaign with you against Councillor Jala. Now Councillor Jala is now Senator Jala, posting picture with Dillon and other people. You know how that make you to look like?
Funny if it will get your way.
Makes you look like, very funny people. They like, you don't know what you're doing. Why don't you move on? Accept and move on. So there are a lot of things, there are a lot of missing pieces that need to be put together. But overall, Steve, Unity Party leader Boakai was fooled and misled and continue to be fooled by Benina Ure and Costa. When you say, hey, they don't believe it, they think they are using Costa and Ure when it is the other way around. Similarly, there are a lot of other people who were not sincere to Yombly in making decisions. especially the decision to destroy the CPP. As a matter of fact, what they started, by the time she assumed leadership, they started all kind of fight. No collaboration, no coherent conversation going on within the CPP. At the end of the day, all the way leading to Baka taking over, and Baka took over in fighting, and Baka, CPP got sick under Nyombli, and then CPP got killed under Baka. All because of Ure and Costa. They're the one that destroyed the CPP because they don't want to see the opposition making progress. Unfortunately, Nyombli and Baka, I think people are working for them, but they're not working for you. They are destroying you. They love what they're saying right now. That's what they are there for. But Baka people, then they're sucking up to Costa because nobody there to talk for them. They're also sucking up to Ure because they don't have no money and nobody to give them money. So yeah, so the line is open. The lines are open now. You can call in and give your position when it comes to the conversation we just had. Go ahead and call in. But until you can call in,
okay, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Yeah, good afternoon, my alien, Steve and Siko. My name is Jonathan Dorake.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
Yeah, good at my alien. And thanks for the interview with Charlyne. I mean, she sounded quite confident, intelligent, and brilliant.
Yes.
She got straight to the issue, and she was able to give a candid opinion as to what she envisaged for the Liberty Party reconciliation, which is a good way to go.
Jonathan, quick question. Are you calling from Liberia?
No, I'm calling from California.
Oh, okay. Can you be a little audible, please? I'm hearing you, but
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So
appreciate it.
Like I said, Charlyne was quite confident, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
She's quite a smart person. She cut across the issues, and she was able to give her candid opinion on reconciliation, which is the pillar of the Liberty Party being together,
right,
and the opposition as a whole. And I really, really enjoy how the conversation went. I also like to say very quickly that many of you have mentioned Mr. Cummings and the ANC had done nothing to get the CPP off track. All that we did as one of the co-generators of the CPP, as Jonathan Dorake, I have seen absolutely nothing we've done. We've only requested that we have a fair chance to compete and to use that competition as a system, because all of our fabric of system have been broken down, and that would have given confidence to the Liberian people that we are system-oriented as CPP, and that will be the DNA of running the government should we assume national leadership after 2023. But very importantly is the Cummings, how CPP got destroyed and how the Durage and Costa are bent on destroying the CPP. It's a gimmick, and people should understand it. It is not just to get Mr. Cummings off the race. That is the key point that we should capture. It is not just to deny the Alternative National Congress or divide the CPP. It is deliberate, intentional, in order for people in Liberia to see that they are the kingmaker of Bwake. So at the appropriate time that the Unity Party will rely on Ure and Costa, they would have opted their game so high enough to transact with the ruling establishment. We made them, we know how to destroy them. That is the game.
All right.
That is the game for which Costa was so happy that we are caught him. That is the game for which we are so nobody to distribute COVID material except Ure. That is the game that they are being on to give Unity Party false confidence that is standing with Unity Party, when in reality they are intending to destroy the CPP and destroy the opposition community and give a greater urge to the CDC-led government. That's
Okay.
just what I wanted to speak.
Thank you, Gentleman. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we need to take the caller here.
Yeah, take another caller. I got another caller, but take your own,
I
please.
take the caller here, I think from Liberia. I'm not sure. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Joseph, and I call you from Morgan, Liberia Police Academy, to be precise.
Police Academy. Go ahead, Joseph.
Pertaining the issue and discussion, people were saying Waka and Yombly were food and so forth. For me, I don't believe they were food. What I believe is that those people, they are not able to make good political decisions. That is what's suffering them today. Because if you as a unity party or former ruling party going in a collaboration, you should know what you stand for. You should know who you are when you are going in a collaboration. Today, communists can jump around and break them up. But I must tell you, Joseph Waka don't know how to make decisions. That is what's suffering today. That is what led to his defeat in Lofa. And he got more defeat to receive. Even 2017, it's because he's not politically wise. That is what led to a defeat in 2017. And it repeating itself. If that puppet don't stand tall, the people that are running, he don't stand as a leader to give them a fast, rather than wait for Costa to give him a fast. He got more water to be drying. And he will see himself singing every time, and people think to be a political godfather or in the older male and so forth. It's not, politics don't go by age. They go by the decision you made. Today he's in opposition. If you are going to be wise in making decisions, he could have been standing tall up to now. But at this time, he's still struggling. The puppets don't even know how to bring the party together. Today, the party is not together. There's a serious split in that party. People are creeping over net discussing with Manjin. But he's standing there and feel that you have to tell the puppet to put she on him. He know how to make over him. He know how to make decisions. He's the wise man. He has still long in politics and so forth. No. Look at how Waka made decisions. Then you know that he's not making the right choice for that party. That is why ANC was able to intrude and destroy them. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Joseph. That was Joseph calling from Liberia Police Academy, to be specific. Yeah, Steve, you have a caller. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
This Brazilian man calling from the Twin City, Minneapolis, as usual.
Yeah, my man, what's going on? Yesterday, that Twin City there looking hard. You ain't complaining about Koda. What's going on?
You always sneak in my time on to me, so you get me called,
My
man.
man.
You see, I just wanted to correct something that Sekou said. Joseph Waka and Yomi Kanga were not victims, they were accomplices. You see, the document I was written already explained in simple English. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand a 26-page document. The reason they decided to take that path was Joseph Waka believed that demonizing and criminalizing communists are going to play to their advantage in the CPP. And Yomi Kanga auditioning for the second spot, she thought it was a perfect opportunity to destroy communists. Unfortunately, it didn't work. That's what I always used to say. Anybody that read that document with an ounce of a brain knew that there were never foul play in those documents. But unfortunately, that was politics. So it brings Joseph Waka leadership and credibility into consideration for people who always talking that he got wisdom. He's been in the corridors of politics for almost 4 decades. How can you fall for a gimmick for a guy like Costa? How do you make that case? So like I said, they were not victims, they were accomplices. But the main reason I called was the interview. I mean, it was very brilliant. I've never seen Charlyne Brumskine espouse an idea when it comes to politics. I heard her. This one-on-one conversation, it says a lot about her. And I'm not counting her out either. I mean, she's bright. She's very eloquent. She speaks fluently. She can handle hypothetical questions. The most famous one that I can recall was the situation with the CPP document. She said, I've worked with Comey on so many occasions, and you have never one day gave me any doubt or gave me any sound that he would do something like that. So hypothetically speaking, she was saying that the other guys who brought the allegation against Comey are the real criminal. That's just offensive way of saying it, because she first validated and defended Comey before making the hypothetical answer. But like I said, there are so many factors when you see Charlyne. The first person that came up with this idea was Chairman Yato. He said, Cyrus, how do you look at the whole idea of Charlyne Brumskine? I mean, that he floated this idea first. I don't know about Charlyne, but just by looking at her today, I mean, that's politics, man. I mean, the future is bright for her. And I think she can sense that as well, because you look at the gender issue, you look at the demographic issue. She's not that young, but she's middle-aged. I would say young adult in that department. She's bright, she's intelligent, she got the credentials. She then tipping her foot into politics. And worst of all, she's a Brumskine. And in Africa, we believe in legacy politics. So when you put all those factors together, man, I'm not ruling her out. She will be someone to watch, even if not 2023, but in the not too distant future. Charlyne Brumskine, I believe she will make a great impact on the scene when it comes to politics.
My man, don't be afraid to even add up that she got a charisma and she one of the most beautiful Liberian women on earth. Ain't that true? Yeah, Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. So she one of the Liberian women. Why you scared to throw that one for? You want to put yourself in situation again, you know? You love it. I got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? Hello.
Hello, my name is McDonald. Hello, my name is McDonald. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Yes, McDonald. My man, you're Minnesota people.
Don't talk to that man until he mention a contribution to SK. The man are constitution. Until he mention a contribution to SKTV, don't talk to that man.
Wait, McDonald. Wait, my man. Wait, slow down.
It made a big constitution.
My man, what would they to you? The Minnesota people, you're calling up battle them. What would they to you? Yeah, but go ahead, bro. Make your point. Where your contribution? Where your question?
From what you guys are saying. So you guys are saying that ordinary Liberian, common social host, so saying that he's the short CCP. So you guys take that concept that both some of them Liberia already, I'm in the opposition right now. Yes or no? Some Liberia and Zambia, I'm in the opposition. Yes or no?
No. But let me tell you what. Let me tell you when now.
So the short CCP that was also nice by the guy. He says destroy. What the he's the most powerful Liberia alive right now.
Wait now. If you ask question, you can't ask question, then you answer your own question. Sekou, where you get to say to
them? Let me. I have another caller here, but let me answer him, right?
Yeah.
But we're saying Costa and Ure. We don't say Costa alone. Costa and Ure destroy the CPP. You know, if somebody who is a leader and that person trusts another person, and that person being a negative person or destroyer, he's not going to directly destroy it because he's powerful. But because the person that trusted him, Baka trusted Costa, that's why CPP did not go down until CPP went on a Baka. Because Baka trusted Costa, he think Costa support him, he take advice from Costa, and we know very well when Baka came here, everything was given to Costa to run and manage him while he was here. And he listened to him. And this guy was very clear to the Liberian people and saying that he's the one that resurrected, that maybe rejuvenated the spirit, Baka's spirit of ambition to run for president, which is true. We know very well, United Party got nobody to talk for them better than Costa. So Baka sees him as a closer advisor. So anything Costa tell him, you listen. That's how. Listen, what Costa said, we will get out of the CPP. No matter what happened, we'll get out of the CPP. Guess what happened? When they got out of the CPP under Baka. So Costa contributed immensely because Baka trusted him. That's why he's taking the blame for destroying the CPP.
Let me tell you when CPP is spoiled, and who destroy CPP? You know
it's Costa and Ure.
Musa Belesi.
Oh, come on, man. That's a nonsense.
You know when he destroyed CPP? Do you know when he destroyed CPP?
When?
He was going on a trip. Telling people the whole go, the brother, they come and get money. They're where the whole CPP is spoiled.
So can I ask you a question before you go?
How much about this part you
let me ask him a question before you go. Can I ask you a question before you go?
Go ahead.
Okay. Who called for Joseph Boakai to leave the CPP? Who amplified it? Who are the first person to raise the concern that Joseph Boakai must leave the CPP? Who amplified it?
I know it's the party.
Who amplified it?
They cannot be honest. Just let him go. Let's take another caller.
Go ahead.
Who was the first person to leave the CPP?
You were the first to leave the CPP.
Okay, have a good day, yeah? Weekend, yeah?
Thank you.
Thank you, Papa.
All right, let's take another caller. Caller, what is your name? Where are you calling from? 973, last 4 DJ 6494.
Yeah, I said last Steve, this T calling from New Jersey.
Hey T, how are you?
Fine. For me, when the interview will go with Charlyne, for me, the CPP being destroyed, Youngly take full responsibility as well. Because all of them were conniving together to destroy this man. So for me, I don't think she can even be nominated as a vice president or whatever. Because when Youngly comes to America, Youngly not even friendly with the international community. You don't see her do nothing with them. She don't go around them. So to me, all these people were planning to destroy this man, and they didn't succeed. I think he should go further up.
But how do we know Numbly is not connected to other people? I mean, because she's not putting them in public, does that mean she's not connected?
Let me tell you, right? I'm in America, and I know a lot of political figures, not because some of us don't get out there to be saying it.
Okay.
Even in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, all over. It's just that some of us just don't post the picture. But when these people have function, we don't see these people there. The only like community political people that don't go around. So we know it. And my thing is, I don't think she not part of whatever happened. They all were planning to destroy this man. They didn't succeed. So to me, I don't think she's a vice president material. That's my opinion. I'm a woman, and I'm telling you it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, Mr. Kane, I think we should call it a day.
Yeah, we already hit the 2 hours mark, so we can now.
Yes.
Yeah, but let me just say something about this guy to tell you how dishonest these guys are. I can understand if Youngly complain or Youngly supporter complain about Musa ability, I can understand. It makes sense. I can understand if Youngly supporters talk about, believing that, okay, because Kobe's and Musa ability were talking, and they accused Kobe of being one of the persons too that encouraged Musa ability for the fight that they have. They can accuse him. I understand that. But for a United Party and Costa supporter then to come and say Musa ability destroy the CPP, how? That's just very shameful because being very dishonest and irresponsible. You know very well Musa ability has no fish to fry in the Unity Party. Unity Party, because they broke, they suck up to Benina Yuri. Because they got nobody to talk for them, they got behind Costa. Imagine people like some of the people that they follow, they look up to speak for them. People that have confessed to lying and criminal behavior are people that you believe in, that you trust. So United Party is self-destroyed by Boakai trusting Yuri and his son. And by extension, not only they destroy the United Party, they also destroy the CPP. That's just plain and simple. And for the fact that these guys, they cannot accept the fact that these guys were the one that destroyed the CPP, that means it will be very, very risky for anybody to do business with them. Because somebody who can accept their mistakes, they can change it. They will change their behavior. But so long people continue to defend the wrong thing, that means they will continue to do what is wrong. So these guys are not to be trusted. And I believe Unity Party will get even destroyed. It will be destroyed more if they continue to take advice from Yuri and Costa. I think if you have any other something we can do that other than that, we can call it a day. I think it was a great interview. The lady, she did extremely well. Hopefully, she will return here so we can have another conversation again.
Well, we just wanted to say out there to those of you who are in politics, whether you're from a different party or whatever it is, and you have this phobia, fear, or think that when you come on SKTV, things will be that, or will question you like that. No, we'll stick with the issues. So you're welcome. Those political leaders, those politicians, those aspirants, those voices for a political leader or political party, welcome to SKTV. This is how we do it, We're not antagonized, we're not hurt you. We'll ask you the necessary questions that concern our country and our people. And you can rest assured that we'll do our research before we get here. We will. You'll be shocked that we will ask you some things. If you're not careful yourself, we'll put you in a situation you can't handle. So if you come in, just put yourself together. Yeah, we'll ask the necessary question. But also, real note, the show tomorrow, mental health and wellness, is postponed to Sunday. It's postponed to Sunday because tomorrow is wake keeping on this side for the Lobo family, and then subsequently Saturday we're having a burial, and we are fully involved with the burial and so forth. So tomorrow, mental health and wellness is postponed till Sunday. We'll put an announcement up Sunday in the afternoon. We'll do the show, so please tune in. After the regular show on Sunday in the afternoon, we'll do another show. So SKTV can keep you busy. And secondly, this coming week, we'll be announcing to you our new schedule, especially my new schedule. More likely, so I will not be available for Thursdays and Mondays, but we'll definitely keep Fridays. We're still talking behind the scene to schedule some things out, but I know Mr. Connor will be available. And more likely, so once we conclude, the announcements will come to you about how things are going to be ran. Most of the time, you'll see Mr. Connor. I could pop in, but I have some things I got to take care of, so I got to be running. Just want to let you guys know. So Sundays, we'll have this coming Sunday, we'll have two shows. We'll have the regular show in the afternoon, then we'll have the mental health and wellness. We have not decided on who our guests will be on Saturday yet. We're still concluding the final conclusion, but please check our site, check the page. But Mr. Cannon, there is something interesting that maybe we could talk about on Saturday on the radio. I want to give hint.
Okay.
Remember, we talk about you were very adamant about the legislature not agreeing for them to give LACC the prosecutorial arm, for them to agree to that.
Yeah.
The government has ensured that that passes. It's a serious problem. And this is where they're going to catch most of the opposition members. But we'll discuss that in details.
Yeah, we talked about it before. But
yes, there is a serious strategy behind it, Mr. Kane. And the opposition should not joke with it. The opposition
and let me tell you something.
Wow.
At the end of the day, that will also be the straw that they're going to break the camel back. It's the one that's going to throw the CDC government too. Because you know what? They want to weaponize the LACC.
Yes.
To fight their political opponents.
Exactly.
But people are not stupid.
We
will shine light on it. We'll get detailed information out to the people.
Yes.
Then we can take it from there.
And we'll let you know some of the plans that the CDC has. The CDC they're very crafty. But when they go to the sky, they come back. They will go.
Yeah.
The time is out. They will go.
I don't know. A lot of people try to do what is right.
They will go.
Yeah. So we gotta leave it there for today, folks.
Yes. Thank you, my people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate your time, and a big thank you to the counselor. Hopefully, she will be back here, and then we will. No,
conversation.
Yeah, it was good.
You're bye for now.
Oh na 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 na.
Just let people them.
People them.
D12 on the beat.
I know they send you to monitor. Go tell them say you